this week, has also shown me that you can never really um, underestimate the things that, even when people are in jobs or careers where they give a lot, um, you can never underestimate what they're going through to see that project or that job or that help, that care, whatever it might be, that aid, that service, even. Never underestimate what they're dealing with to see that through.
Hmm.
You know, I'm in the service industry, so I understand from my point of view what it takes to show up every day. Um, in a positive energy to do the work that I do,
Hmm.
and there are so many others out there, right, that are providing services or working in positions that ultimately provide a service somehow or another to community, to the public, to people, and just never underestimate what people are masking,
Hmm.
um, or what people are putting to the side, what they are suppressing to show up and deliver that work.
Mm.
It's not it's not an easy task. Of course, people say, well, that's what you signed up for. And understanding what you signed up for is definitely um, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like you have to know what you're signing up for and what you're willing to deal with to see it through. But yeah, man, everybody's has a load. You know what I mean? That they are lifting every day. Um,
To
you
go
know,
and do the thing that they're actually either getting paid to do, called to do, chose to do.
and a lot of times underpaid to do,
Mm.
right?
Right.
Undervalued to do.
It's been 10 days right now that Portland Community College is on strike right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Educators are one of the roles and responsibilities that get underpaid.
At least taken care of.
But the load that an educator,
Bears is is
whew,
is tremendous. And
tremendous.
yeah, man. So the week is just in different ways. I've seen it causes me to pay more attention to others that are in those positions, and just be reminded, that everybody has their load to lift and their things that their personal things that they're dealing with, um, alongside providing the service um, that they are providing, to people. So yeah, just never
Yeah,
underestimate that.
yeah. I'm one of those people who has a hard time of masking.
Mm.
Um, like I'm gonna show up and do the work, but I might need to be left alone. Like I might not need to interact with people.
Yeah,
Um,
and everybody deserves that time. Everybody deserves that
yes,
time. I mean, you're living in a foolish, mind state if you think that nobody deserves time to be left alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but I'm saying that because I witness you. Like we're completely different people, right?
mm-hmm,
I witness you
mm-hmm,
because I'm around you all the time. Like I understand what's going on underneath the surface, right? Um, but I witness you always show up the same.
mm-hmm.
Like you have a great capacity to do that. I, on the other hand, do not have that
Right,
capacity.
right.
Like I can't show up, but you're not faking either. I wouldn't say that you're faking it. I would say that you have the ability to you have the capacity to
Mm-hmm.
hold. You're made for it. I'm made to be like, leave me alone right now.
Yeah,
But
and
I
it
can
ain't,
still
and
show
it,
up and get the work done because
and
I'm resolution oriented.
yeah,
But that's why I love our program
yeah,
at
yeah.
CBI. Like we understand there's a whole person here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna come be a leader in your community, you had better know who you are, and
Yeah.
you had better know your capacity. You had better know how to show up when you're having a bad day, because in this industry you actually have to show up,
You have to.
or you got to call, or you got to choose to call out.
Yeah, there was a, and I always, would explain to our students and also the barbers in my shop over the years, take the time that you need, you know what I mean, to step away if you need to. If you know that you're not in the right mind, if you know that you're not in the right, attitude, man.
Don't rub that off on other people.
Bro, take some time. You know what I'm saying? Sit in your car, go have you some breakfast, you know what I'm saying? Go do something, whatever you need to do, walk around the block, and then come back to the shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, know yourself enough, be aware enough within yourself to say, you know what, man, I'm not in the right state of mind. Let me go get right. It's valuable. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, unfortunately, when everybody doesn't give that space to do that. And so a lot of the places that we may go to, stores, restaurants, school, other businesses, whatever it is, they don't get that opportunity. So guess what? We got to feel that energy, you know what I'm saying, that they carrying with them, that they brought from the house.
And it's just gotten really bad.
You know what I mean? If we really
take a, it's gotten quite bad.
It's tough.
People don't care.
And that's why, I'm thankful for also our school, you know what I mean? Because we provide that space for people, because we know people are dealing with a lot. And we understand, like, with the Healing Corner, that's a great place for people to decompress. Come to school, man. We don't want you to be, to not be here. Come to school. We're going to give you the time and space to, go
nurture your being.
Absolutely.
So that you can show up with presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your presence actually really matters.
And having that space for people is valuable.
Yeah.
Too. So
absolutely.
But yeah, man, this week is, it's just been a reminder of that. And yeah, man. So it's been a great week though.
Mm-hmm.
Great week.
I agree.
We are the lanes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
All right. So we are the lanes.
We've been married for 20 years. We are business partners. We are parents.
And this is Built to Last,
where we talk about what it really takes to build a life, a business, and a love
that can't be broken.
That cannot be broken.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. So last episode we dug into our origin story. So if you have not watched that, please take a minute to go watch that.
And share and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe.
Today we're going to get into the operating system that we have utilized unconsciously for my whole entire life as a whole being. And my husband gave language to it, and we created a framework out of it. So he briefly talked about the t-shirt line that his creative self developed. It originated as BINAO, which stood for being broke is not an option. It later evolved into BINAO. Cut out the being and just broke is not an option.
Yeah.
Now, it originally started through the lens of finances, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was a young father, you know what I mean? Head of household. And, it was just a affirmation, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That, broke is not an option. Whatever needs to be done is going to be done. And, I had somewhat lived, I had not necessarily the whole framework, right? But on the financial side, I had lived that already. I wasn't going to be broke regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, so that's where it originated from.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I had a family to take care of and how I wanted to take care of us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's where that originated from.
That mindset actually was fantastic because we were in the alignment of wanting to be present in our parenting, wanted to be present for our kids, wanted to expose them to any and every great possibility that we thought was such. So there was nice spans of time where I didn't have to work outside of the home. Parenting was the job.
Mm-hmm.
We could pick our kids up, we could drop our kids off. We were in control of what they were exposed to. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely everybody's going to have their vision, you know what I mean, for how they want to raise their vision, their family, I mean. And with that, you got to decide, how things are going to function for you. You know what I mean? But the vision that we have for our family and how we wanted it to function, we didn't want our kids to be in the hands of other people. You know what I'm saying? We wanted hands on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Interaction as much as possible with our kids because we wanted to build, the structure, right, and the insight that we wanted for them, not what a child care facility, somebody, again, we just, we talked about people coming in, bringing in their load, you know what I'm saying, their heaviness, their energy, their dysfunction, whatever it might be. You don't be knowing what people dealing with, and you can't underestimate what people be dealing with, right? And to go and place our child in the hands of these people just did not sit well. Because you just don't know, right?
But then you do know, right? Because we're all energetic beings by default. We're not taught about that at all. But there were a span of times where our kids would go to daycare.
Yep.
And there was
short span.
There was one place. Anaya was what? She was under a year.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't talking. She couldn't speak. And there was always two people that we would drop her off with. One of those people, she did not like. She never wanted to go to that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Never wanted to go to that woman. Would pitch a fit. And there was another lady who she loved, and she would always happily go to her.
Mm-hmm.
So the load be, listen to your babies. This is what I want to get at. Listen to your babies, but they can't talk, but they can communicate. Okay.
Absolutely.
That was a little tangent.
But no, it just goes back to being able to make a decision on how you want things to function. You know what I mean, for your family. And again, like I said, the BINAO, the broke is not an option was more of an affirmation and a something to remind me and us of how we was going to move. Again, this was first financially based, how we were going to move to ensure that we could do and have and be the family that we wanted to be, right? And so as I moved in my profession and in my career, that's the attitude that I had every day that I got up to go do what I had to do for my family. And gladly did for my family.
Yeah. So as we've lived more life, it's consciously expanded into we will not be broken spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially, because we're multidimensional people. And in order to be happy, we've got to be whole. And so that's really what the BINAO mindset and framework is about. How do you ensure that you remain whole?
Yep.
And how do you quickly identify when your tank, your capacity is running low in an area? You can quickly identify this because with this framework and with this mindset. We've met entrepreneurs who are financially stable, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, but their marriage is bankrupt.
Yeah, and that's a sad situation to be in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's one of them things that all the money that you got can't fix that bankruptcy. You know what I mean? And no matter what, it's really a mindset that you have to attain and be committed to in order to fix a situation like that, rebuild a situation like that, or even make the decision to to be done with a situation like that.
If that's what it needs to be, right?
Yeah, oftentimes the wrong things hold people together for the wrong reasons, and that's what keeps them broken. Sometimes you gotta, restructure and rebuild in order to be whole, and it may not be with the person that you with, and that's just a reality. But nonetheless, that is a reality, and we understand that there's so much more to being whole, right, and to not being broke, that you have to be conscious of and committed to.
Yeah. So as you think about the BINAO mindset, you want to think about it in all of those dimensions, all of those layers, and really use it to quickly analyze and identify where your battery is low. And then take some time to be present with yourself, to be present with your situations, and all the things that you're carrying, right? That's heavy. You got to disconnect from all of that so that you can have a clear signal to decide how to move forward and get back to whole.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always naturally want to get back to whole. And so when we begin to feel broken in any area of our life, it doesn't mean that we're failures.
Right.
It means that we want to be whole. And so here's a signal, here's a symptom, here's an alert system grabbing your attention to get you back to being whole. That's what the BINAO mindset is all about. Mm-hmm. Holistic living. And so now we're going to get into breaking down BINAO as a framework because, it's multi-purpose for us. We got a lot going on.
And I just want to get into that a little bit. When we actually sat down and crafted this as a framework, again, like I said, we were living by these virtues and by these standards, by these values, but didn't really, we didn't put words to it necessarily. But it was actually during COVID, during that time of stillness, you know what I mean, and uncertainty is when we got very certain in who we were at the time, you know what I mean, and what as a family, as a couple,
as entrepreneurs,
and realize then that, what, we've been living out this BINAO
like this.
You know what I'm saying? This is really what it's been for us. And we set our minds to put it into words, and that's what we're going to share with you today. So, like we said, it's spelled BINAO. Okay? BINAO. And so the B, I'm going to talk about the B first. The B stands for building, in the building of a vision, or always having that building mindset, right? You're always looking for an opportunity to build and grow from the level that you are currently at, right? That's really what the B stands for, having that building mindset.
Yeah, so that means taking some time to get in tune with your vision. Like, what is your vision of success? Mm-hmm. What is that vision that makes you feel whole? What is that vision that actually completes you spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially? What is that vision of success for you? And nobody can tell you that answer, actually. Nobody but yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so the next letter, I'll let you.
The next letter is I, and that stands for inevitable. And so inevitable means, look, it's happening because it's already done. Mm-hmm. So we're tapping into our belief system. Mm-hmm. And I've seen this play out in so many times over my life. And I'm going to go all the way back to when I was about 12. For me, it often connects to prayer. Not always, but often connects to prayer, where I stand and I speak in my personal authority and belief. So, for example, one of my favorite ones is, I am going to have a husband who loves God and who loves himself. And I'm going to have a son and I'm going to have a daughter. And I was like, done. It's done. Um, I watched you do that with the barbershop when you opened up your very first barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you moved and navigated, I was like, ooh, just flow state. Flow state was sexy. um, so that's what we mean by inevitable.
So y'all hear that, right? Having an inevitable mindset, right? Knowing that this is going to happen or it's going to happen. That's all it is to it, man. Once you have that vision in your mind and you made a decision that this is what you're gonna do, it's only a matter of time, but it's going to happen. What else? What's another word for that? Faith. Right? And so it's just a matter of you putting in the time and the effort and maintaining the belief, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And so that's sexy. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Yeah. So
and I also want to affirm here with the B and the I building and in that building process becoming being inevitable. It requires your right brain, your right hemisphere to be activated. So we've got, I'm going to always speak in biology. We've got a left brain and we've got a right brain. Our right brain is our creative, intuitive. I think God primarily speaks to us through our right side. We've got our left brain. It's very analytical. It's logical. It needs to understand why things are the way that they are, and it wants to figure things out in advance. So the building, we need that creative mind to be online, to believe that it's inevitable. We need that creative mind to be online so our faith can be strong, because we're not always going to have the answers. So if you find that it's hard for you to really tap into building and believing in the inevitable, you might just want to take a minute to see if your left brain is always on and hyperactive. And if that's the case, find a way to intentionally balance that out. It's going to require some work. Okay. But that could be an issue that I just want to highlight.
Yes, Miss Biology. But it's facts though. It's facts. All right. So I was just gonna speak of another inevitable. You talked about the shop, but I was gonna bring up the school. And when I made the decision, that this is what is next for me or next for us, and once you decide, bro, and say this is what it is, I don't care. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? No matter how big it look, no matter how outlandish it might sound, even, I believe this is meant for me to do. And when God co-signs that, it's just a matter of time. When it's co-signed in your spirit that this is what is meant for you to do, all you got to do is move in it. All you got to do is move in it.
When you said the word decide, I bet you know immediately what popped into my head.
The Will Smith.
Guys, we have every orientation we have when we bring in a cohort of students. We show this video about Will Smith.
Shout out to Will Smith.
Will Smith's journey. And he said, just decide. And we all know how successful Will Smith is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, he's one of the greats. And why do we love people who are great? It's because they show us something that's possible for us that we all want individually. We all want to be great individually, but it requires a lot of work and effort.
And it requires belief and commitment and faith and action, right? Requires all those things. And when you are willing to put all those things in the pot,
cook it up,
it's inevitable that great things that are going to come from it. You know what I mean? So so that's where the inevitable comes in at.
Next we've got N. Go ahead and talk about N.
Yeah, N stands for non-negotiables, right? These are the things that the values in the beliefs, again, in the virtues that you believe in. Like there is no bend or break when it comes to these things, right? And I feel like this is what keeps you in line, your non-negotiables, right? I am not going to be detoured from this. As I move through life, this is non-negotiable. You know what I mean? As I become a married husband, as as I become a married husband or wife, this is a non-negotiable. As a parent, this is a non-negotiable. As an entrepreneur, these are non-negotiables, whatever it might be. But you have to have those things in line.
Right. And why we like to connect this with values is because values can be represented in any aspect of your life. So if you're anything like me, you really want a streamlined approach.
Mhm.
Like, I don't have time to be thinking about what are my values for this and for this and for that. I just need to know what are my values.
Mhm.
And my values are going to play out in my personal life, in my business, and in my family. Because this is who I am.
Yeah, indeed.
And this is how I roll, and this is how I operate. This is how I can stay in an element of flow and believe in the inevitable.
True. Absolutely.
So you use it as fuel and guidance and direction and accountability.
So and they can, it's so funny, they can show up, the non-negotiables can show up in so many different ways, right? And so I just want to give an example. I wanted the best for my children. And I wanted to keep them safe. Every parent wants to keep your parents safe, your family, not just my children, but my family. And there was one particular thing that I said, this is a non-negotiable for our family. And it might seem weird to some people, but for me, it was a matter of being a father and saying, this is something that we are unsure of. I'm unsure of, and I'm not going to allow this to take advantage of our family in the long run,
I think I know where you're
right? So I had done some research and I had an epiphany, right? And I said, we don't really know the long-term effects of using a microwave, right? We know that microwave can get the food hot like that, right? And we know that there's special food there's microwavable food, right? that's meant for the microwave. We also know that there's certain things that you put in a microwave, it'll blow your whole house up, right? Nonetheless, I said, well, what do we really know about this machine? I know that it functions off of like microwaves, right? What's the term I'm looking for? Not just frequencies, but God dog it, radiation. There's a level of radiation that, at least that's what came to my mind when I thought about the microwave. And I said, you know what, man? If it's just a matter of getting it quicker and not really understanding the repercussions long term, I don't want it. I don't want it. Not for my children, not for my wife, not for my family. We don't need it. We can use an oven. We can use stove top, right? We don't need the microwave. So guess what I did? I got rid of the microwave. And throughout my whole kid's childhood, they didn't have no microwave in the house. We didn't have no microwave. There was times we didn't even have a TV in the living room. Different types of things, right? But there was purpose behind that non-negotiable. The well-being of my family, right? And so sometimes in life, you got to make decisions, you know what I mean? And say, I'm not bending on this. I'm not compromising on this. No matter what, it might seem super small to others, or it might be big. Like, bro, you gonna take the microwave out your house? Are you kidding me? Yes.
That was my response initially. I was like, what are you talking about? And I don't agree.
Yeah.
I do not agree.
Nobody did.
He was very firm. Like it was inevitable already. Mm-hmm. By the time he brought it to the family, it was already inevitable.
Yeah, it was gone.
And I could feel it. And so it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, you have to choose your battles, right? I could already tell it wasn't even worth me arguing about because it was already inevitable. It was already done. So I had to get on board and honor the decision that he had made, and we didn't have a microwave.
Yeah, man, and life goes on. You know what I'm saying? Life goes on,
And I didn't understand it then, and I didn't agree with it then, but now today, fast forward, and what I know about energy and frequency and all these things, I'm like, hallelujah, thank you, husband.
Yeah, and it was, it was one of them things where, I was looking out into the future like, wait a minute, man. Would I rather deal with the repercussions of not knowing what the heck this hot box does to our food that we eat? Or would I just rather not have it? I'd rather not have it, right? And so we did away with the microwave, man, for many, many years. We just recently got a microwave back in our home when we remodeled our kitchen. But even with that, I tend not to I don't like to use it. But nonetheless, yeah. So sometimes your non-negotiables, man, they're things that they may not seem as big to some, but they're definitely big and meaningful to you, and stick to that. Stick to that.
And so the next letter is A, and that stands for being all in. Like you really have to be committed to the process, okay? Because you don't know what is going to come your way. You don't know what circumstance or situation you're going to have to deal with or be exposed to. So being committed to being all in just helps you not allow yourself to back out of the deal, the bargain that you just set with yourself. So the example that I want to share is Kobe Bryant. Now, we have a champion mindset. We've shared that in our origin story. So we love to go be in the energy of champions. I love to hear from the source. So we went to a conference, and Kobe Bryant was a keynote speaker. And the story that he shared was, he was like 13, he said?
Yeah, he was a kid for sure.
I think he said he was around the age of 13, and he had made the decision that he was going to be a great basketball player. He was about to be in the list of the best. And he shook his own hand to seal the deal. I'm all in right now. Now we've all watched Kobe Bryant execute that in real time, and boy, did he!
Absolutely,
the inevitable. It was so inevitable. And I'm not going to talk more about Kobe. We even have more.
Rest in peace.
We even
Kobe
have
Bryant.
more connection to Kobe. That maybe we'll share later on one day. Do you want to add anything to this all in?
Man, again, just rest in peace to the GOAT, man. And I feel like that was a prime example. I'm glad you brought that one up because he did display that. You talked about, he displayed it in so many different ways.
So many different ways. Like when he injured himself and then walked off the court, and that's unheard of.
No, not only did he just walk off the court, he went and shot free throws. Right? Achilles, people be crying and whining and rolling all over the court and got to get wheeled out on a stretcher or a wheelchair. Kobe went to the free throw line, sunk the free throws, and then walked to the locker room. Different type of beast. Can you be the same animal and different type of beast? Or what do you say? Can you be the same animal and different type of beast? I think I said the same thing twice. But anyway, that's what he said to Kanye. You don't remember that commercial? None. Y'all remember that commercial? Anyway, go look it up. Kanye and Kobe. But anyway, one of the biggest things, with that is, like you said, the greats, right? We like to surround ourselves with the greats and go be around the greats. And it's, it's one thing to go see what they do. but it's another thing to get an understanding of how they think, and I think that's the part that when we had that opportunity to hear him speak from it shed light on who he was as a person. And he definitely embodied, of course, he has the Mamba mentality, right? But he embodied every piece of the BINAO framework as
Absolutely.
well. Everything about him exuded it. And so that all in, though, he talked about a situation that I kind of want to talk about that other little piece. And he said he had gotten hurt and he was on his road to recovery.
Yeah.
He was on the road to recovery, and recovering from a Achilles, tear or injury, his ACL is a tough recovery. And I can remember him saying something to the effect of he was on the treadmill. And he had a certain amount of time that he had to be on the treadmill. And for a split second, he thought about finishing early and being done. Mm-hmm. And in that same split second, he said, this is how the losers think. Oh, hell no. I think he might have used a different term than that, but he was like, I don't ever want to think like a loser again. And he finished out his workout. But he was just for that split second, he said, this is how losers think. Because ever since he had made that deal with himself at 13 or whatever age he was all in on his vision for himself. Great. And he knew that it was inevitable for him to be a world-class champion, right? And there was non-negotiables that he had throughout all the time that he would not bend or break on. And he was all in committed ever since then. Could you imagine what it feels like? And I know we've all done it because, not everyone has the capacity of a Kobe Bryant. And we're not even going to fake and act like that's, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody has that capacity of a Kobe. Majority of people do not have a capacity of a Kobe Bryant. But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
That's unusual for you.
I know, but what was it saying?
Everybody does not have the capacity of a Kobe Bryant, and
I was talking about the all in.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But we've all done it.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. God, dog, I was on the right track. Getting old, y'all. Nah, but okay. So let's backtrack just a little bit. Not gonna act like everybody has the capacity of a Kobe Bryant because we know that that's not true. But
I beg to differ. Everybody, we
Oh, that's what I was about to say. So, can you imagine what it feels like to break an agreement with yourself? That's where I was going. He stayed committed and I was going to say, of course, you know what it feels like because all of us have done it before.
Yeah.
We've done it, and that's what I'm saying. We ain't gonna fake here and act like we ain't never done it. But for someone to say, I'm never going to break this agreement that I've made with myself.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, wow, that's what the Mount Rushmore's,
And that's really what sets him apart. He's like, going back to who is the most important person in the world. You are. I am. You are. Yeah. And if we don't believe that for ourselves and we put everybody else above us, and we'll make sure that we hold the commitment to somebody else. But we won't make sure we hold the commitment to ourselves. That's what he was saying.
Yeah. Right.
That's the difference. And that's why I beg to differ. We all have the capacity to be like Kobe. But we're choosing not to.
But will you? Will we?
You know what I mean?
Is the question, right?
And sometimes we've got it backwards for so long that we've not trusted ourselves so much and we backed out on so much that we committed to or said we wanted to do that our subconscious is like, you're full of shit. I don't believe you. So yourself doesn't support you anymore.
Wow.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you got to start trusting yourself and holding yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to
And
literally retrain yourself that I am going to do what I say
I'm all in on me.
Yeah.
I'm all in on me, and that's something, that's a powerful, a very powerful decision to make.
And this is why self-accountability is one of our core values for our school.
Absolutely.
And every time I enroll somebody, I talk about our core values, and I talk about how self-accountability is underrated. It's underrated, and it's actually a superpower, and we see it in people like Kobe. We see it in people like
Will Smith.
All the greats. Will Smith, all the greats. And we see it in ourselves when we arise
to the challenge,
to see it through, right? And we're all in.
Opportunistic. Yeah. Okay. Now to the last letter, which is O, and this is being opportunistic, right? Being on the lookout for opportunities, right, that align with your values, that align with your standards, that align with your gifts, that align with your passion, right?
That align with your vision of success.
All of it, right? And I feel like when you are mindful of opportunities, not just, looking for the next opportunities, but very mindful of opportunities and saying this one is for me and maybe this one isn't, that also puts you in position to be successful and whole as well.
Absolutely. A part of that. So as you can see, this is a full circle flow. It's wholeness wrapped in a word. When we believe that our vision of success is inevitable, opportunities will present. You'll be overwhelmed with opportunities, right? Because the vision is inevitable, ways to achieve it are gonna come to you. So we really have to be mindful about shiny object syndrome too.
Right.
And making sure that we have the ability to discern, making sure that we have the ability to monitor and hold ourselves accountable to not being swayed by distractions.
Absolutely.
Not being clear enough to understand that this opportunity is not in the best interest right now.
Yeah. A lot of times they aren't, right? And it's always, it's like clockwork. Whenever you are truly locked in, right, and you have all the other things, you have the vision intact, right? You got your faith intact. You're committed. You're all in. Your non-negotiables are in place, and then all these different opportunities seem to arise, right? Or situations even, right, seem to arise to either take you to the next level or steer you away. And that's kind of like the testing, period. Like, are you really all in? Are you in a situation where you can see the difference between, it's like that fork in the road. You know what I mean? You can see the difference between, okay, am I going to stay in the lane that I know I'm supposed to be in, or is this opportunity going to steer me another way? Right. And so, again, that awareness is extremely valuable. So, yeah, that's, in a nutshell. I think we gave you a few nutshells there about the BINAO framework, and we're going to continue to get into that, as we proceed with Built to Last. So look forward to that. And again, like, share, and subscribe, man. If you guys are enjoying, what we're sharing, please share it with someone else. And let's grow.
Right. And so let's not leave them without an easy button.
Easy button. So
Mr. Lane.
Easy button is gonna start with you today. It's gonna start with me. It'll start with me. Okay. So my easy button for today would be to sit down and think about this framework we just shared. right? I believe that when you have that attitude of broke is not an option, I think it takes, while it gives you a level of responsibility, right? It's saying, okay, I know that I need to hone in on some things, right? This vision, my faith, right? My non-negotiables, my values and virtues, right? I know I need to commit, like really, and I know that I need to be aware of opportunities, that are available when all these other things are in place. Um, when you sit down and curate what that looks like for you, I believe things become a lot easier in life. You have a direction, right? So I would say take some time to kind of, what does this look like for you? If you apply this framework to your life, what do things look like? Oftentimes, I feel like before we can press that easy button, right? We have to work through some things. You know what I mean? We have to take all the packaging off first. You know, before we can get to that easy button. And I think oftentimes people just want to get to the microwave. You know what I mean? They don't want to put the food in the oven and let it cook for a little bit. Let it warm up the slow way. It tastes better that way anyway. And I feel like, when same thing goes for the easy button. You can't seek the easy button without doing the work prior to it. You know, um, it's kind of like cooking a meal. Can't rush it. Can't rush it. You gotta take your time, marinate your meat. You know what I mean? Season your meat. You might even have to let it sit overnight. You know, but once you cook that thing, you cook it right. It's gonna be tender. It's gonna be easy to digest. And so just take all those things into consideration. And I feel like that would be an easy button. Um, you know, going forward if you're able to do that first.
Yeah. All right. My easy button advice is going to be go on a field trip with yourself. There's a couple places I like to go. I love water. So I would go to Carson Hot Springs, or I would go to this new place called Cascada.
Shout out Carson Hot Springs and Cascada, right in
Cascada,
Northeast
whatever it's
Portland,
called.
Alberta Street, 12th and Alberta. Check them out.
Take a journal and sit with yourself and reevaluate your life. And why do I say that right now? Because we're talking about being whole. We're talking about having an elite level mindset. Broke is not an option, the BINAO mindset. Remove yourself from distractions and go be with yourself. And have your journal. Write out your vision of success. And write this vision of success without the fear of limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Without the fear of limitations, okay? Without the fear of limitations, write out your vision of success. And then assess your values. What's really important to you? What are the values that are going to make you feel whole in your personal life, in your professional life, in your family life, and in your contribution as the leader that you are to the world? Because the world is undergoing a tremendous amount of transformation right now. We are living in history today. So consider that as you're doing all this journaling and writing and assessing. And once you've got your vision of success, you've reevaluated your values, and you've got your top 5 listed. Find out or document 3 specific things, tasks, goals, outcomes, action items that you can take to live it out. And execute on that every single day. Don't get caught up in your analytical mind. Get caught up in your creative mind. Allow your creative mind to have some freedom to live the life that you were designed to live, which is a life that is rooted in abundance. Okay? That's my easy button for you. A life without limitations, because that's what we were designed for.
Good stuff. All right, man. Well, that concludes.
Built to last.
Yes. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Built to last, baby. We're built to last. Jefferson High is where it all started. Immediate chemistry, and I could not ignore.